Bead Company, and I wanted to show you a new product that we are carrying. This is the 2-hole spacer bezel. So we do a lot with multi-holed beads, and we thought we should start investing in producing some in metal as well. So this is a unique 2-hole spacer bezel. It has the 2 holes going down the sides, and then it has a place for you to glue something in or to bezel something in the center here. The 2-hole spacer bezel is done for SS20s. So this one you can fit in SS, which is stone size 20, which is going to be the little chaton stones. The stones that I'm actually going to be working with today are SS24. These are the Potomac crystal chatons in the 24 in that blue zircon color. You can also use in here, since it is designed to hold the 20, the Preciosa brand SS20 crystal. Again, it has that kind of bezeled shape, that V shape, that the chaton is going to sit perfectly inside of. We have these 2-hole spacer bezels in the SS20 to start with, and then hopefully we'll be increasing to some different sizes based on popularity. We also have a number of different colors of the Potomac crystal SS24s that fit in, as well as the Preciosa 20s that fit in. We're selling them in packs of 10, so with your pack you'll get 10 of these 2-hole spacer bezels. And the metal that they're made out of is Zamic, which is a German acronym for the metal materials that are bound together, which is going to be zinc, aluminum, magnesium, and copper. They have that nice silver color, and because of the product and the combination that creates the Zamic, they're going to keep their color and their coating. Again, they have 2 spacer bars that sit on the sides of them. The spacer bars, when you're looking at them, they sit at about 1/4 of an inch apart from one another. I have a simple project here just to show you its use and how you can easily take some of these 2-hole beads and create a fun bracelet. I'll be using with the 2-hole spacer bezel that blue zircon color and gluing it in with some E6000 glue. Because it has 2 loops, I have it spaced out with some Potomac crystal rondelles on some stretchy string. You can either pre-glue your chatons into the bezels and then string them, or you can string it and before you turn it in the round shape and tie off the ends of the 2 stretchy string, you can glue the chatons in and then tie the backing together. To do this bracelet, I started out with 2 pieces of 0.8 millimeter stretchy string. They're both about 10 inches long, and I started stringing one of the sides of the 2-hole spacer bezel. I did 4 of the Potomac crystal rondelles in the 3x4 millimeter between each of the spacers, and I ended up with 9 of my bezels for my wrist size, which is about a 6.5, 6 3/4. If you know that you need to do a bigger one, you add 1 more on because you've got 10, and you can play around with the spacing as far as if you want more. Another idea when we were getting these manufactured and importing them was the idea to use different birthstones. So you can actually it's a great idea for a mother's bracelet to drop in some of the different birthstone colors in the chatons when you're designing or creating. The other thing that can be used for is to make Y necklaces and have them at the bottom, some beads to go around the bottom and come up and separate the strands along the top. Number of different uses. I'll also be doing them with some bead weaving, but wanted to introduce them to you here. So I have the design laid out flat and I have my E6000 glue. The E6000 glue, I prefer the small tubes here, which are the 0.18 fluid ounces, because a little bit in the jewelry world goes a long way with this industrial glue. Once I have it open, if it hasn't been used before, it's like super glue and it has a little poker at the end of the tip here. I'll have the E6000 handy. I'm usually going to do this on a piece of cardboard or something that I can brush off, and then I usually have a piece of plastic near me. That way I can kind of clean off the end of the tip. So I have just a little piece of plastic scrap here that I have, and then I have a piece of cardboard normally that I will sit it on and glue it. That way I don't glue it to my beading surface. Usually you'll want to have a beading awl or a needle handy. That way you can kind of control the glue a little bit. I'm going to be just grabbing one of my needles that I have. So I have a beading needle, that I'll use the beading needle, and this is just your average size 10 beading needle. I'll use this to kind of help control the glue. So to start out, I'm going to go inside the pieces. Again, if you know exactly what you're going to do, it's usually helpful to pre-glue them, but I wanted to show you the process. I'm going to get a little bit of glue out of the tube, just a tiny little bit on my needle, and poke it inside that little area of the bezel. Then taking my chaton, dropping the chaton in, making sure that it sits, and then spinning it around. So just with my fingers, I'm kind of spinning it around. What that's going to do is move the glue around that's behind it. Again, go to the E6000, get a tiny bit on my beading needle, drop it into that bezel area, spinning it around, letting it sit on the next area, dropping in whatever color of the SS20 or 24 you want, and pushing it in and spinning it around. If you have extra glue that comes out the end, you can go back with your needle and kind of clean up along the edge there. And that's why I said you need a very small amount of glue to hold it in. The E6000 Glue recommends a 40-minute curing time. I usually like to let especially pieces that are going to get roughed up a little bit, like a stretchy bracelet when you're putting it off and on. I usually like to wait a good 12 hours before I go in and actually wear the product or the piece. You can see I'm just moving right along here, gluing them in, and making sure as I glue them, spinning them around in place, which is going to move that glue around inside that bezel set. As I go through then, just making sure that I have all my pieces and that they're good and adhered, I'm going to continue gluing them in at the very end. Once all your crystals are glued into place and they've had enough time to dry, whether or not, again, prior to stringing them or after stringing them, it's time to tie the bracelet together. So with the stretchy bracelet, you can design it that it comes together into one bead or into one strand. With the two strands, what I do is I end near a bead or something that has a larger hole if possible. You'll tie the one strand together, right over left and left over right with a square knot for this 0.0 or this 0.8 stretchy string. And then after you tie the one strand together, we'll go back to the other two strands and tie those together as well. Also, I did want to mention that we do have these available in the Xamic that has a brass coating on top also to get that gold color if you prefer a nice goldeny brass look. After I do the square knot right over left, left over right, I do grab some E6000, or I'm sorry, not E6000 glue, some super new glue, which is basically a fast drying jewelry adhesive, and I'll glue down the ends of the stretchy string. That way this bracelet will be completed. And the stretchy string, because of its nature, does tend to want to come apart. So you can see this knot right here is coming apart. That's where I go in and I make sure to really pull, stretch it, and then do that nice stretch or that nice dab of the super glue as well. Once I have the super new glue on there and the whole piece is glued, then it is finished and you have that nice, easily wearable, very customizable two hold and two strand bezel here. Again, if you need any of the materials to work with these two hold bezels, you can go back to the beginning of the video or underneath the video to the published date of the video, hit the show more or the down arrow, and you'll get links to the different products that are used in here, but mainly the product that we're highlighting and doing this little video on as well. As always, if you want to get regular product updates on new things like these metal bezels, new ideas and designs that we're creating, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can also suggest that a friend subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll get regular updates from us as when we post videos and have new content for you guys. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram and on Pinterest. You can check us out at potomacbeads.com, as well as on Facebook. Ask to become a member of our beading group for beading and jewelry making. Become a member there. It's a great interactive group with wonderful people that love to make jewelry, love the art, love discussing the ideas, the concepts, and really sharing creativity across that beading forum. As always, thank you so much for watching, and if you get your chance to get your hands on some of these 2-hole bezels, go for it and have fun creating.